Hi everyone, Nicholas Buffett is here from the junior and senior school here in not so sunny Cyprus, but sunny enough. And today we're back with a video tutorial on Microsoft Teams and in particular assignments. All about assignments in Microsoft Teams. Now this video is for everyone who is involved in education. And that means from the management of a school, the admin staff, the teachers, the students, and the parents. Now, it's really important that everybody has a good understanding of the structure of Microsoft Teams. I think it's really important so that everybody's on the same page. We all know what to expect, especially the students, and also to help those poor parents at home that are trying to help their children with finding work when they get a little bit confused as to where everything is in Microsoft Teams, or if it's somewhere else. Is it Teams? Is it Notebook? Is it OneNote? Is it an assignment? Is it in the calendar? And all of these questions, which really do accumulate and cause quite a bit of confusion. So before I begin, I want to show you the two different views I'm going to be using today for this video, so it can assist you in understanding the view for the teacher and the view for the student. So this is going to be the first view. This is the view that you will get when I'm talking as a teacher. So when I'm demonstrating as a teacher, this is the view that we will have. You can see I've got here my various teams. I'm going to be working with this team here. It's called the teacher training team, and I'm actually in the general channel. When I'm going to be talking as a student or looking at the student side of Teams, I've got this view. And we can see in this view, you can see the border going around my window, and at the bottom it says student device. So when you've got this view, I'm actually logged in as a fake student, and we will see the work and basically Teams and the assignments as the student will experience it. Okay, so let's begin. I'm going to go back to the teacher view. Now, from the teacher view, the first thing I want to have a look at is Teams in general. So we've got the basic components at the top, so posts. This is where we can generate and post information to the students. We've got the files section. This is really important. So here's something I think, teachers sometimes, they move away from a little bit. It's a little bit confusing as to where do I give the resources so that students can access the resources. Well, a really good place is going to be in the files section, and in particular in class materials. Anything you post, or not post, anything you upload outside of class materials can be edited and can be deleted by students. So be careful with that. Don't just throw things in this general area here. So all of these folders and files here, students have access to, and they can actually delete them. From the class materials, however, they've only got read-only access. So anything that you upload here, students will be able to see, but they cannot edit, they cannot delete. They can, however, download these files to their own device. They can move them to their own section in OneDrive. That's absolutely fine. So if you create a good folder structure in the class materials, separate your chapters or categories in folders, it's going to make students finding the material that they want or the resources that they want really easy. Okay, so that's something to work on, organizing your file and the folder structure in your class materials. The other good thing is that if you do create a new team for next year for a similar year group, then you can actually from SharePoint copy that whole folder system into the next team. Now, I'm not going to demonstrate that. That's another video. I've got all of these already in my YouTube channel, so you can find it from there, and you can message me if you need any help with that. Okay, so the next thing that I want to have a look at is when you create a class notebook, it automatically generates a class notebook for you. So if I click on class notebook, we can see here the class notebook. And if I click on these little books here, I can see all the students which are a part of this class notebook, and I can see all the students here. I've got access to the students. Okay, and from here I've got my class notes, the handouts. This is all the sections that the student has available to them. At the top I've got the content library. This is really important. I can put, again, resource material here. Now, this is where you need to be a little bit careful. If we're going to put resource material in the class materials in the file section and resources in OneNote, then you have to be really clear about what you're doing and make sure students know where your resources are. Okay. Personally, I prefer using the file system. If you've got a lot of notes that you've prepared in OneNote and you've done them by inking, then absolutely fine. You can put them in the content library. Remember, the content library is read-only and students will not be able to edit this work. They can, however, create a copy of it and place it in their personal section. Students will be able to see in their personal section down here the different sections that you've given them or the sections that they have created. Now, let's go to assignments. Now, assignments, this is where I'm going to create an assignment for you. But before I do that, let's have a look at the different sections. You've got assigned. These are the assignments that you have actually assigned to the students of this class, and these assignments are active. So you're expecting students to submit their work, or they've submitted their work and you haven't returned all of them yet. They only go to the return section once you've marked all of them and returned the work for every student. If you don't return for every student, then it will stay in the assigned section. And that's so that, for example, here I can see here 2 from 11 have been handed in. And if I was to return 2 of these back, then it will still stay in the active section because I haven't returned all of them. In the return, these are all the assignments that have been issued and have been returned back to them with feedback and a grade, and I've returned to all the students. As you can see, this is a test one. I haven't returned for all of them yet. And in the drafts, well, it's exactly what it is. If you're preparing an assignment, putting it together, you haven't finished it yet, you can save it, come back to it. And then when you do actually assign it to the students, it will go to the assigned section. Let's go have a look at teams for students now. So I'm looking at teams now from the student point of view. This is a student, a fake student, and this student is a member of these teams here. So I'm going to click on teacher training. This is the one that I've got, and I was logged in just now as a teacher as well. Students have the same similar view. They've got the post section where they can go see all the posts which have been made. They have the files section. That allows them to go see the files. So can you see, these are the files I told you about that can be deleted by students. So if I was to select this as a student and click on delete and confirm that, there you go. That file has now gone. So students can edit and modify, and they have full rights in this section here. In class materials, you can see this little symbol here. That basically means read only, they cannot edit. Clicking on class materials, they will have access to all the resources that you give them. Okay, and again, it's very important, if you structure your folders properly, it's just going to make everything so much easier for the students to see, and so that they can find the work that you want them to find. Okay, so let's move on. Now, the class notebook in the latest release of Teams has now moved over to the left-hand side. We can see class notebook, assignments, and grades here to the left-hand side. This is actually a really nice move from Microsoft, so well done on that, because it declutters this tab area at the top. Okay, so if the student wants to access their class notebook, they can click on this. It will open the class notebook here, and they can from here access, and there we go, we can click on the little box here. Now you can see I don't have much workspace here, but if I click on this double arrow, it will maximize that window for me. Okay, and when I click in the work area, it will actually take all of that area there, giving me a pretty decent window size. If I click on the books over here, I can then go back and I can see all the sections I have under my name. I've got the content library that the teacher has provided me with, and there may be resources here with folders here. Now, teachers, if you're using Teams, class Teams, it generates a class notebook for you. So there's really no reason to generate a new class notebook from the class note application. I know and I can understand that sometimes we just use that same notebook, remove students and add new students. That actually causes a little bit more confusion. But at the end of the day, what's going to happen is if you don't have your class notebook in Teams tied up with the actual class notebook the students are using, then students are going to have to be going from Teams to class OneNote notebook and backwards and forwards, and that causes a lot of confusion, especially because students, they have to work with class notebooks and Teams from different teachers, and if all the teachers are using a different method, it really causes a lot of confusion. So let's just stick to Microsoft Teams and keep everything under that umbrella, making it easy for the students to find everything. So from here, we've got the content library, where the students can access all that information. I've got here, for example, checklists, and these checklists are things that students should know about Microsoft Word. And they've got the student section, and they can only see their own section as a student. That will be their name, and they can see the sections here. Okay, now if they want to use the OneNote for Windows 10 or the OneNote application because there are more features, you can do that by going to Edit Notebook and opening on the desktop app. The desktop app is fantastic, but there are sometimes issues with synchronizing what you've done in the desktop app to the online version. So if you can do your work directly from here, or if you can do your work from the browser, if I click on this now, you can see it opens up my OneNote in the browser. And if you prefer that method, that's absolutely fine. When I click here, I can actually go to my sections, and you can see all of that there. So it really depends what you prefer to do. But if you can do your work from the online version, from the browser or from Teams, stick to that, because that way you know you're not going to have any synchronization issues at all. Okay, so I'm going to leave from there. So now I'm back into Teams. I'm going to reduce the size of this window now. There we go. I can see my folders, and I can go back to the general section. Now, for assignments, I'm not going to show you this on the student end yet. I'm going to go create an assignment as a teacher. So let's go back as a teacher. Here we go. I'm back now, and I'm a teacher again, and I want to create a new assignment. So from assignments, I've clicked here. Now I'm actually in the drafts. It really doesn't matter. I've got the button at the bottom that says create. So I'm going to click on that. Now I can create an assignment, or I can create a quiz. The quiz would actually open Microsoft Forms, and it will ask me, well, let's have a look. If I create a quiz, a simple quiz, then it's either going to ask me to generate a new quiz, or I can use a quiz which I've used before. Okay, and it will basically blank all the results from that quiz and generate a new version for this team or for this class. Again, that's a different video. There's videos on that. You can find that in the playlist in my channel. So let's go back. If I want to create, however, from an existing assignment, so if I'm teaching, let's say 3 year 7 classes, and I'm generating the assignment, I don't want to generate it 3 or 4 times. And let's say I didn't assign it to all 3 groups, I only assigned it to one. I can actually regenerate that assignment from a different team, and it will assign it to this team with all the resource material as well. I'm going to start directly from an assignment. So I'm going to start a brand new assignment now. So the first thing is to enter a title. Titles are important so that students know straight from the title what homework this is. So I'm going to say homework 3, HTML code on tables. Now I'm going to click on instructions. Here it's very important that you use good instructions. If your instructions are not clear, then you're going to cause some confusion. So let's just click here. I've copy pasted this text, and you can see here in my text I've actually said answer all the questions in the attached document, and I put here homework on tables. You're going to see why in a second when I attach some work. So you probably attach the work or the resources for this assignment before you write the instructions. Well, at least that's what I do. Then it says you can use the resource PowerPoint attached to guide you. So there's going to be a PowerPoint here as well. And this is why I say it's good to attach the work before you write the instructions. And then it says, if you need further assistance, please post your question in the Teams posts where fellow students or myself will be able to assist you within school hours. Okay, we don't want as teachers to be answering questions at 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 o'clock at night from students. Students need to respect either the school hours or respectable hours. So that's a learning curve as well. Work must be submitted by the deadline. Again, students, they need to learn to respect deadlines. And we're going to look at the deadlines now that we set them. The next point is to attach the work. So I'm going to click on attach, and we've got different options. If your work is already saved in OneDrive, you can click on OneDrive. It will open up OneDrive, and that'll be fine. You will find the file and you will attach it. If it's in Class Notebook, and I've got one in Class Notebook, but I'm going to do that second. What I've got here is I want to upload my work from my computer. So I may have it stored locally. It may be on my USB device. And I'm going to go to my desktop, and I've got here Teams assignments. So here is the work that I want them to do. It is a Word document, and I'm going to select it. Now it's going to upload this document. Now here's the trick. If I leave this as is, it says students can't edit. Now what does this mean? When the student gets this assignment and they see this work, so let me see if it will open it directly. If I click on that, here is the work that I want the students to do in this Word document. I want them to basically draw the table, which is generated from this code, and I want them to write the code for this table. They will not be able to edit this document because that's what I've set it up as. I've said students can't edit. So essentially this means students will have to download this document, do the work locally, and then upload the work to the assignment to hand it in. Now that's a long process for students to do. So the best thing to do is, from here, I'm going to click on the ellipses and I'm going to say students edit their own copy. Now what does this mean? This essentially means that when the student gets the work, and we're going to see this when we go to the student view, when the student gets the work, they can simply click on this and they can do their work. Each student will automatically get from the assignment, when they click on this resource, it's going to be their own copy immediately. So they can just open it, edit it, close it, come back to it later, open it, work on it some more, and then when they finish, they just turn it in. They don't need to upload any work. And we're going to see this when we work as a student. So let's go back. I'm going to also attach some information for my students, which is going to help them so that they can essentially solve or answer these questions. It could be a link to a website, a YouTube video, or a link to a OneDrive file. You may not want to attach the files, it takes too long to upload. It may be a video tutorial, I make loads of those, so I can just attach a link to that resource. But I'm going to upload, let's say, a PowerPoint. So here's a PowerPoint which is going to help them. And this one, I don't want them to be able to edit this. I don't want them to do anything with this. It's just there to help them if they need help. So they can just click on this and it's a resource to help them solve the problem. And I've got here a table and the code which is used to generate this table. Okay, so they can use this example here to solve the questions in that Word document. Now again, they're not going to answer anything, that's just a resource. The next thing that I'm going to attach is going to be, and this is just so that we have it complete, because a lot of people use OneNote, and OneNote is fantastic. I'm a big fan of OneNote Class Notebook, so I have to attach some work which is in OneNote as well. But at the same time, I want to make it easy for the students to find. I don't want them jumping around, going to Class Notebook, going to Teams, going to Word. So I'm going to go to Attach. Now, in Class Notebook, I've already made, and let's just go and have a look at that. So I'm just going to save this assignment. There we go. I'm just going to save that. So it's going to go in my drafts. There it is there. I'm going to go to my Class Notebook as a teacher. And I'm going to have a look here in my teacher only section. So I've got my own teacher only section here. I've got homework and I've got all these different things here. Okay, and what I want to do is to find, there we go. So this is in my teacher only section, and I've got in my personal section which the students can't see, this piece of homework already saved, and I want to assign this to the students. Now, one thing that a lot of teachers do, and this is absolutely fine if you're working with OneNote class notebook only, is to go to the class notebook section here and distribute this page to the students using class notebook. You don't need to do that. So let's just go back now to my assignments, and I'll show you how you can distribute this to your students without having to do it from class notebook, making it easily accessible for your students. So go back to my assignments, I'm going to go to my drafts, and I'm going to continue finishing this assignment. Okay, so I'm going to do an attach. I want to attach from my class notebook. Automatically, it's going to open up the class notebook, which is linked with this class team. I'm going to go to my teacher only section because that's where I've already set up this piece of work. And I've put it in the homework section. Here's the page I want to assign to all my students. And I'm going to click on attach. Now, this section here is asking me, where in the student section do I want to attach this piece of work? So before I continue, let's jump over now to the student view. So if I go now to the student view here, go to the class notebook here on the left. When I open the class notebook here, I can see that this is the content library which the teacher adds resource material. Here's my name as a student, I'm student 1, and these are the sections which I have available to me. And we can see here the different sections. We can see it's got class notes, handouts, homework, web design, feedback, fun stuff, so on and so forth. Okay, so this is all the sections which are under my name. Now, these sections have either been assigned to me by the teacher when through the class notebook, or these are sections which I as a student have created because I wanted to create some sections to help me with this subject so that I could keep my own notes. So in the teacher area here, you will only see the sections which are available to all the students which have been assigned, all the sections which have been assigned to all the students by you, either when you created the class notebook or sections which you've distributed to them already. Okay, so I want to, if we have a look back in the student section, we can see here I've got the homework, and if I click on homework, this is homework which I've issued. These are ones that have been locked. So let's say the student hasn't done the homework here and I've locked this page because they can't edit it. Because when you give feedback on OneNote, you want to lock it because you don't want the students to go and change that feedback. For example, make that D into an A. So I'm going to go back to the teacher section. Here we go. And I want to assign this, the page which I've got from my teacher only area, the OneNote page, to the students homework section. And now I'm going to click on done. Now, if you look here again, it says students edit their own copy. Now, this is really important. It's very important because now students will be able to open that work directly from Teams. They don't have to close the assignment to go to OneNote. They don't have to open the offline version of OneNote, the Windows 10 version or the OneNote 2016. They can just click on it and it will take them directly to their personal space. Okay, so we're going to see that as soon as we go to the student section after I've assigned the work. So the next thing I want to do is give some points for this work. Let's say I'm going to give that 25 points. You're going to add a rubric. I'm not going to go into rubrics. As educators, you will know what rubrics are. As students, you should know what the rubric is. But if you don't, if it's been assigned to you, you'll be very clear what it is. Now, who are we going to assign this to? So here it says teacher training. That's the name of my team. So if I assign it to this team, then it's going to assign it to all the students. If I've got this assignment let's say I want to assign this assignment to my 3 year 7 classes which I teach. Instead of doing the assignment 3 times, I can easily click here and choose which other teams I want to assign this work to. And I can see here it opens up all my teams, and I can choose which ones, or I can search which ones I want. So let's say I want to assign it also to year 7E. I can click on that, and then I can come over here and I will see it's assigned to 2 classes. If I click on that, it will actually show me the 2 classes, right? It's the one that I'm in and this. And if I want 7P as well, I can select that. So now it's assigned to 3 classes. Clicking on this, we can see the ticks of which classes it's been assigned to. If I want to remove these ones, I'm going to remove them because I don't want my students thinking they've got another assignment. Then I can just remove it. If I want to assign this to a specific group of students or one student so that I can differentiate and say, right, this group of students is going to do this piece of work and this piece of work is going to be done by another group of students for whatever reason. Let's say I just want to do group work. Let's say I want to differentiate based on ability without stigmatizing the children so that the children don't feel, you know, you are going to do this work and you're going to do this work. Okay, through teams, it's silent, it's invisible. Everyone gets their own assignment, they get on with their work, they don't know what's been issued to other people. So if you do want to give this work to specific students, you can just click on here on all students or individual students, and then you can choose which students from your team. So these are the only students which are in this team, and I can say I only want this piece of work to go to these 3 students here. I don't want these 2 to get this. I'm going to create a different assignment for those students. So if I click on done, we will see here it's been assigned to 3 students. And if I click on that, go to individual students, I can see which students they are. Okay, so I'm just going to leave that there, only those 3 students. The date due. Now the date due, this is when you want the deadline. I'm going to click on the date. So I'm going to put this, let's say, give them a few days in advance. Don't make the deadline the next day. So I'm going to say I'm going to give this by Sunday, the 19th of December, and by default it puts it at midnight. Again, I strongly suggest you don't leave it there, because then students sometimes will think about something that, you know, students have to learn to plan their work, and leaving something open till midnight means that you expect them to be up until midnight and they've got until midnight to submit that work. That's not the case. I always like putting, let's say, a maximum time of 8 p.m. By 8 p.m., as far as I'm concerned, work assignments should be finished and they should take a break, have a couple of hours or an hour at least before they go to bed to rest. And even 7 o'clock should be fine. But 8 o'clock, I'm kind of happy with that. Now, the next thing that I want to do is to have a look here. It says here, assignment will be posted immediately with late handings allowed. I'm going to click on edit. Now, if you're one of these people that likes to pre-plan your assignments, and I know quite a few teachers which are like that, they're very, very organized, you can actually schedule when this assignment is going to be posted to them. So if I make this, if I don't do this, then it's going to assign the work to them now, and they will see an assignment. Mr. Bafidis has given me some assignments to do, or given me an assignment with a deadline. But if I don't want them to know about the assignment yet, and I want to enable this assignment on a particular day at a particular time, before the deadline, then we can schedule the assignment here, and I can say I'm going to schedule this for the 14th, and I'm going to say I want it, let's say I want them to start working on this during class time, then I'm going to say I want them to start working on it at 9:10. That's where our second period begins, and at 9:10 on the 14th, which is going to be tomorrow, Tuesday, that assignment will appear for all the students and give them a notification saying Mr. Bafidis has issued an assignment. So you can actually schedule. I'm going to remove the scheduling for now because I want the assignment to pop up so we can see it live. So the due date is Sunday at 8 p.m. The close date, if I choose close date, it's going to put the same date as the due date, and that basically means if they try to submit or turn in their work at 8:01 or even a second after 8, they will not be able to. The deadline is over. If you disable this, then it will allow them to submit their work after 8 p.m. or even the next day, but it will say when they submitted the work, late handing, and it will tell you by how much time it was late. So this is your decision as an educator. How important is it that they meet that deadline? If this is, I like giving them a fixed close date. So if they miss that deadline, they cannot submit their work. I can then give them some grace period, say, right, I'm going to enable this, because you can enable it again, and say, I'm going to give you another 2 days to finish this off. And once they've gone through the emotional turmoil, say, oh no, I missed the deadline, I'm going to get a 0, then they actually do the work. So I tend to give them a little bit of grace period, but you need to plan for that. So I'm going to put close date and click on done. Now the next one, this is another fantastic feature from Microsoft. Okay, so teams, add assignments to calendars. Let's put the deadline in the student's calendar. There's no excuses. Parents, you want to know what is due and when it should be handed in and by what time? Well, here it is. You just go to your child's calendar in Teams, and we're going to see that when we go to the student section. So I'm going to say yes, students only. I don't need it in my calendar, but if I want to see it in my calendar as well, so that I know when work is scheduled to be turned in, when that deadline is, then I can put students and me. Okay, and then you've got students and team owners. So if you've got let's say you've got a team and you're sharing that team with other, let's say your head of department or other people that are teaching that same year group or that class, then if you put team owners as well, because they're owners of this team, they will know that you've given assignments, and that will prevent them giving the same deadline as you. And that, I think, is a really cool little feature, because when we give an assignment, we don't tend to think about what other assignments are these students expected to complete on that date or by that date. So if it's within the same department and you're owners of that team, let's say all the year 7 teachers are members of each person's team, then you would know what is being assigned by the other teachers. So I'm going to put students only. And then do I want a notification in the general channel? Well, I can click on that, and I do. I mean, it's going to please select all students in the class in order to post assignment notification to a class. Now, because here I've put only 3 students, I'm differentiating. It's not going to post in the general channel saying that there's an assignment, because it doesn't affect all the students. If, however, I chose here all students, this will clear the individual, yes. Then now I can post in the general channel, or I can choose which channel to post this in. Okay, so if I put it in general, they're going to see it in the general channel. So I'm just going to leave it for everybody now. I did have it for 3 students. There's no point doing that again. I'm going to assign this work. Okay, as far as the teacher is concerned now, if they go to the assignments and go to assigned, we can see here is the assigned work. It's due on the 19th of December. If I click on it, I can see all the students which have been assigned this work. I can see if a student has seen the work, if they've submitted it, and if they do actually submit the work, they turn it in. I can actually go and grade it, give them the grade, and return it. Once I've returned all of them, then it's going to leave from here and it's going to go to the returned section. However, another cool little feature, but not perfect, is this one. If I click on the 3 ellipses here, I can go to student, well, I can edit the assignment. That's a good thing. If I want to make a change the deadline, for example, I can go to student view, and this will show me what the students will see. Okay. Reference materials are materials which the students can use to help them resolve or answer the questions. Student work, this is work that the students are going to work on, for example, question papers. And because it's here as student work, when they click on it here, they can actually answer the questions. So let's now go from the student view. Okay, so I'm here now logged in as a student. And I go to, I should have had a notification as well. There it is there. Assignments mentioned, teacher training, homework 3, HTML code on Teams. Now, the couple of things that I can do. First, if I go to my calendar as a student and I go over here to the 19th, actually put it on Sunday. So I'm going to put, instead of work week, I'm going to choose week for my calendar. And if I now go here, so I can see Saturday and Sunday, look at that. Homework 3, HTML code on tables. There's my assignment as a student, which has been scheduled to me in my calendar on the deadline date. Now, if I want to open that assignment, I can simply double click on this. It will open, I say, view assignment. And there it is. There's my assignment. I can start working on this assignment as a student now. Now, the beautiful thing about this is that because it's been set up in such a way where I, as a student, can work on the document and the OneNote directly from Teams from here. And I'm going to show you other ways to access this, but I can open this here. I can start working on this. So I'm just going to type something here so we can see. This is my answer. Okay, and let's just make that, I don't know, let's say a red color, so it actually stands out when I go to the other one. Okay, and let's just make that a bit bigger. So this is me starting my work, and I'm going to close. That means I've done some work on this assignment, on this work. I haven't finished yet. I'm not going to turn it in, but I've done some work on it. Okay, and I can come back to it at any point in time and just click on it, and I can just carry on working directly from here. So there's no need for me to download it, download the Word document as a student, work on it, save it, and keep doing this, and then turn it in. Where else can I find my assignment? Well, we saw the calendar, which is awesome. So if it's scheduled in the calendar, I can see for each deadline when it has to be submitted by. I can go to my class team. So here's my teams. I'm going to go to my teacher training team. And here where I've got assignments, I can see a list of all the assignments for this subject, where I can actually see all the deadlines for this particular subject, my teacher training team. And here it is here. So I can click on this, and there you go. It's the same view as before. If I click on my homework to continue, look, it should have my work. There it is. There's the work that I've already started doing, and I can continue. So I'm going to say continue answer. So I've done some more work there, and I can just close it, and it's automatically synced. Now I can do this also with the OneNote. Let's have a look. So if I click on OneNote, it will open up OneNote directly to the page where the homework is. I don't need to, as a student, now go to my name, go look for the homework section and find where it is. It opens it directly from here, and I can be typing. I don't know, let me just type something here at the top so it actually displays, and I can be doing my modifications. There we go. I'm just going to make that red as well. And I'm just going to click on close. Now you can see that it's automatically syncing for me. Okay, there we go. It's synced because it's already online. If I close that now, as a student, I know I've already started doing this work for the document and the OneNote. The next part that we're going to have a look at, where else can I find this work? Well, on the left-hand side where I've got assignments, if I click on assignments here, it will show me all the assignments which I have to do for all of my subjects, all of my classes. So these are all the assignments given to me by the different classes from my different teachers. So any work that's been assigned to me through Teams from any class Teams, from any teacher, I will be able to find directly from here or from the calendar if my teacher has made sure to add the calendar entry when they made the assignment. But if they haven't, again, going to assignments directly will show a list of all the assignments that I need to submit with their due date. And I can open that work directly from here. And again, guess what? Click on the OneNote. Carry on working. Okay, that's going to be synced. There we go. It's syncing there. As soon as that's finished, I can close that. That's synced. I want to carry on working with the Word document. I can click on that. As soon as it synchronizes, look, there's continue my answer. And I'm just going to add some more text there and then close. So this is really cool because students can just do some work. They don't need to worry about saving it and worrying about the different versions. It's all saved online. And once they've completed all of this, they just click hand in. That's it. Now, if we want to be a little bit more inclusive with students, then it's a good idea to allow students to do their work on paper as well, not just digital. Now, if you want to do that, then you need, as a teacher, so let's say I've made my decision now, I've changed my mind, I'm going to add the ability for students to do written work in their book and submit that. I'm going to go back to the teacher view. I'm going to go to my assignments. So here's my assignment. I'm going to click on the ellipses, go to edit assignment, and I'm going to say here, you can complete in your exercise book and upload a picture of your work. Now I think I already put that. Oh, my spelling there is horrendous. Complete, there we go. And okay, I may have done, oh, there you go, I did. You can use, no, have I? If you need further, right, so I've just added that there. So the idea is, if a student is going to do the work in an exercise book, I need to update this now. So I'm going to update that, and I'm going to go back to the student view. Okay, so now if I go to my assignments and I click on this one here, there you go, we can see the updated version there. Now, how do students submit something? Well, they can take something, take a picture from their mobile phone, from their device, and then if they want, if they've done all their work written, they can simply attach, and from here they can upload from their device. So if they've got a picture on a USB or on their mobile phone, they connect it to their device, they can select and just simply go and choose the picture and upload that. So I've got a picture here of a cover image of a video. I'm just going to put that, open, and it's going to attach that picture for them now. Okay, so you now are a little bit more inclusive. You're being a little bit more thoughtful about the student needs. Maybe not all students are comfortable using devices. You want to give them the option to do something written, especially if it's something like maths. Some students might want to do it in their OneNote. Some students might want to do it on paper. So you can give them the option. Again, once they've done that, they take a picture, upload it, and then all they have to do is simply click on hand in. So let's just hand that in as a student. There we go. There's my animation, a treasure chest, and boom, it's gone. Now, as a student, if I now go back to assignments, so if I go back, I'm actually going to click on general, so it actually refreshes everything, and then go back to assignments. I can see here it's gone. It doesn't exist in my assignments because I've completed that work. So if I go to completed, I can see the assignments which I have actually completed. And there's the one I just completed now. Now, if I want to make some changes, let's say that the deadline isn't over yet, I've still got time, and I've decided I want to add something to my assignment or to my work because it was something I didn't do or I couldn't do, and now I know how to do it, then I can click on this here. And there it is, there's my assignment. I can click now on undo hand in. Okay, so that's been undone. And now I should be able to edit these. Now here's a note for you guys. If I try and edit it straight away, it takes some time for the settings to say that, you know, the hand in has been undone. So a good idea is to click on refresh. If you don't, and you get this, for example, and I'll show you the error that may happen. So if I click on this now, and I try to carry on working on this, if I double click, you see, and I try to type something, it gives me this document is read only. It's read only because when you submit your work, your document becomes read only, so you can't go make changes to it. Now I've already undone the turn-in, but it's still read only. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to close that, click on reload to reload this page. Okay. And once it does that, because it's reloaded, it will have taken the settings, the new settings, which is you've undone the turn-in, and it should work. So if I try that now, there we go, and you can see it's got the hand in there because I undid the turn-in. And if I click on this, I should be able to now to carry on editing. There you go. Okay, so sometimes it's a good idea to simply reload the page or to refresh Microsoft Teams. Now this, because I'm looking at Teams from the browser, I've got the reload. I'm going to go back to the teacher one so you can see where the reload is there. So this is the application. It's not an online version of Teams, and the reload button is this one here. Okay, so you can do that reload tab and it will just reload everything. It basically refreshes everything if you've made any changes. So let's go back to the student section. Now I'm just going to close that, that's saved, and now that I'm happy with this, providing I'm within the deadline, or if I'm over the deadline but late hand-ins is allowed, I can simply now click on hand-in. Okay, and I get a new animation. Slice of pizza. I think that about wraps it up, and I think a slice of pizza for me now will do just the job. So that's it. I hope I've given you a lot more insight into the assignment section of Microsoft Teams, both from the teacher side and the student side, so that everybody knows what is possible and how to find things, especially if you're a student, how you can find your assignments and the resources to the work so that you can complete your assignments a little bit more easily. I hope you've learned something, and I will see you in the next video. Take care.